When we taped this episode on September 10th, none of us knew the devastating news that would break later that day, the murder of Charlie Kirk. I also want to take a moment to honor the memory of Irina Zarushka, the Ukrainian girl who was tragically killed in August. And on top of that, September 10th also saw the heartbreaking school shooting at Evergreen High School in Colorado. These losses weigh heavy, and my heart goes out to everyone affected. Welcome to the Thought SNOB Podcast. I'm Paula Swope. Let's get snobby. Welcome to another episode of the Thought SNOB Podcast. I'm your host, Paula Swope, and I'm here with my husband, Will. He is the producer of the Thought SNOB Podcast. And if you've been watching us for any amount of time, you know that we switched up the format a few weeks ago to one that is a little bit more challenging for me because Will ask me a question or give me a topic to talk about, and I have to just talk about it off the top of my head. And sometimes I have a general idea of what he's going to ask, but sometimes I really don't know what to expect. So let's see what he has in store for me today.
So I had this thought, we like to discuss current events and different things we see throughout our news feeds, either social media or through one of the news sources. And I love some of the takes that you have on these current events. So now I have a bunch of these headlines pulled up.
Okay.
They're all from the New York Times, so we'll know that some of them are political, and the headlines may have a little bit of a liberal slant. But I know your take is going to be something completely separate from what people expect.
Okay, so I don't watch the news. Are these from today?
These are from give or take the last week.
Okay, because today, just so people who are watching and listening, as we record this, it's September the 10th.
Right.
And so this episode will probably air next Tuesday.
So, it's September 10th. Now, not all of these headlines are, the date doesn't matter for all of them. Some of them are political, as I said. Some of them are serious topics. Some of them a little less so, because, I'd like to keep a little lighthearted if we can and try to have fun with this.
Okay.
But I'm going to drag these over to your screen here.
Okay.
And we'll just start with the first one. This one's a big topic here lately, and the headline says, "We all thought the raids were over. Fear returns for immigrants in L.A." Los Angeles residents are anxious once again following a Supreme Court ruling that allowed aggressive immigration raids to resume.
I think that anybody with any sense whatsoever would agree that if there are people here in America that have come here illegally and they didn't go through the proper channels, and they come here and they don't contribute to society, and they kill people, and they sell drugs, and they rape women, and they're just straight up criminals, then they need to get the hell out of here. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The same as U.S. citizens. They don't, anybody that behaves like that, they need to get out of here too, in one way or the other. Usually that's in a jail cell. But I just don't really feel that is all that's going on here. And I think that there's been proof of that. And I don't know anything but what I'm seeing here. We all thought the raids were over. Fears returned for immigrants in LA. Los Angeles residents are anxious once again following a Supreme Court ruling that allowed aggressive immigration raids to resume. I think that the deportation of immigrants is absolutely out of control. And I hope that I'm wrong, but I really do think that this is driven by quantitative numbers. I think that numbers, they want to report numbers. And I think they're looking at people, and I'm not using the word illegal alien here. I'm saying people. I think they're looking at people as numbers and nothing else. And I think they're judging books by their covers and nothing else because they need numbers. I don't know if any of this is legit. If they have raided LA and they have rounded up a bunch of immigrants who are criminals and rapists and killers and horrible people, okay, get them the fuck out of here. But how do they know that? I mean, I don't know of, and again, I don't stay real close to the news. I mean, unfortunately, I hear a story like this, I stick with what is within my control, and I don't step outside of that. There's nothing I can do about this shit. I can't do anything about this. So I'm not going to spend time worrying about it, because worrying is the same thing as praying for what you don't want. What I will do is envision a country where the collective consciousness is not based on fear. And right now, I'm afraid it is. And when you've got that many people living in fear, bad things can happen. And I'm just afraid that it's turned into a really fixed mindset here in America, which is a real shame. It's a real shame. I don't know the truth about what's going on here, but I can tell you my opinion, and I do not think that those raids are legit. And I also think that there's a lot of pettiness and a lot of revenge going on with this administration that is unprecedented. The White House does not need to be sharing fucking social media posts, making fun of people. The most recent one was about, I saw was about Rosie O'Donnell. It's not, the White House don't need to be acting like that. The White House is supposed to be an institution of class, sophistication, high emotional intelligence. There's no room for petty in the damn White House. Are these raids petty? Are they revenge because Gavin Newsom is mocking Donald Trump? Fuck if I know. I mean, average people like me, we don't know the truth. That's my opinion about that.
Yeah. And I lost a lot of the respect that I had for Gavin Newsom when he stooped down to Donald Trump's level. I don't know how much respect for him I had to begin with. Didn't know much about Gavin Newsom, but when he stooped down to Donald's level, I was done with him.
I always thought he was good looking.
Well, sure. He's a stereotypical California guy.
But I'm going to go with Andy.
That's right. That's our boy right there, Andy Bashir. Talk about class and sophistication. Come on, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go to the next topic. And there's a couple of these. I have two somewhat related headlines here, okay? This headline is, they're famous, they're everywhere, and they're fake. Influencers like Lil Michaela and Mia Zelu have millions of followers and generate serious income despite being created with artificial intelligence.
Shit.
Yeah. The other one that's somewhat related is remember when things were better in the 90s? AI does too. Dubious videos about the glory of bygone eras are creating nostalgia for those too young to fact check them. There were a bunch of headlines about AI. There was one about AI created drug ads where they're taking real doctors, I guess likenesses of real doctors, and using them to scam people into buying either fake drugs or whatever. But it was, I don't have that one up here, but I'd love to get your thoughts about AI. And I
You
thought,
just gave me like 50 different 50 different things.
right.
They're famous, they're everywhere, and they're fake. So Lil Michaela and Mia Zilu, millions of followers, serious income despite being created with AI. Where's the money go? I mean, these are fake people. So where does the money go? I mean, that's my opinion on that.
I'd imagine it goes to the people creating them using AI.
For starters, this Mia Zilu has 167,000 followers. Yeah, I have more than that. I don't know how this AI person is making all this money with 167,000 followers. I All right, so I'm not going to over analyze this. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with these fake influencers as long as they aren't doing any harm, as long as they aren't harming anybody and they are not appealing to highly vulnerable people. I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, AI is a level of genius that I never thought I would see in my lifetime. And there are a lot of aspects of it that I do appreciate. And there's really no difference here, really, than video games. I mean, there are fake people in video games. I don't really see anything wrong with this. As long as I think the only thing that can really, well, there's a lot of things that could always go wrong when things like this are involved, but is somebody actually believing that, they're real when it's a robot, and no matter how advanced AI gets, there is a human component that absolutely will always be absent. And lawsuits are popping up now over Chat GPT because people have committed suicide and use Chat GPT as a confidant and to get advice from. And I'm sorry, Chat GPT is a wonderful tool to create projects and do research and check your writing and all of that. But Chat GPT is not a human. And Lil Michaela and Mia Zulu, they are not human. And as long as the people behind these robots are not causing anybody any harm, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Any thoughts on AI creating nostalgia for bygone eras?
So I'm assuming that this is for kids of what age? Can I see kids?
Yeah. So it's geared towards people that weren't around in those eras. So I'd say people 20s and younger, because there's a record of everything that's done today, right? We didn't have social media back in the 80s and the 90s.
Thank God, I would have been completely, oh my God.
Amen.
Woo.
Amen.
So, okay, I think this is brilliant. Okay, so right now, we're raising a 15-year-old. My stepdaughter, your daughter. Does she listen to us?
Hell no.
Okay. All right. Somehow or another, I feel like she listens to me when it like comes to Elvis, but it's like, how can you not appreciate Elvis, especially, if you love music? And I think that's why she listens to me about that. She's not going to listen to me about what things were back in the 90s. You saw her reaction a while back when we mentioned a payphone. So they don't listen to people who grew up in the 90s. They don't typically want to listen to me talk about that. But they will watch this shit right here and soak it up. But now when I will get irritated is if a young person comes to me acting like some type or corrects me about something that went on in the 90s because AI told them something. Now that's when I'm going to be like, listen. Okay? I was there for Ice Ice fucking baby. Don't correct me on the lyrics. But this actually, I think it's actually brilliant, and I think it's a great learning tool. They are going to soak up and process this information way better than if I was sitting and telling them a story, because they look at me as an old person who can't relate to them, even if I was the one that was alive and living it in the 90s. And I can tell you all about the 90s. But they're going to want to hear it from AI. It's just going to appeal to them more. So I think it's freaking brilliant. No, they're not going to read a textbook about it. They're not going to do that. Unless they're made to do it. And, it's not like anybody really wants to, like a student, like if they read a book like about the Holocaust. That's not the same as talking to somebody who survived the Holocaust. So I think that a tool like this is going to just be more appealing, and they're going to be more willing to listen to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's another one. This one is from September 3rd. Florida plans to end all vaccine mandates.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
We're talking about this. This is polio vaccine.
I know. I heard about this, and people at the end of the day, they have to be able to make decisions on their own. And I think sometimes when you make a person do something, it's like an immediate just no. Like, they're not going to control me. They're not going to make me do that. It's almost like I can see, playing the devil's advocate in a way, or reverse psychology. I did not like having to get the COVID vaccine. Like somebody making me do something. Although back in 2021, nobody had to make me. I wanted to get it. I have always believed in the power of modern medicine. Something happened during COVID. Something fucked up about that vaccine. So I have some mixed opinions, and I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say that I know all of the scientific research behind it. I am confident enough to tell you I don't know what to think about the COVID vaccine. I really don't, and I'm undecided, and when I'm undecided about something, then I don't do anything. I got very, 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 very sick from the COVID vaccine, and it was a feeling like I had never had, and it lasted for a really long time. And so I haven't had the COVID vaccine since 2023. Now, Florida plans to end all vaccine mandates. Okay. All right. You want people to do the right thing. And I think that if this could motivate people to get the vaccines now that the pressure's off. People do not like to be told what to do. And although they go to the polls and they vote, and the government should do this, the government should do that, and the government should protect this, and these are my rights, and blah, blah, blah. But when the government gets too hands-on, people are like, hold on a second here. The government's not going to control me. I'm a human being. I can make my own decisions. Nobody's going to control me. I work, I pay my bills, I pay fucking taxes. You're not going to tell me that I have to get a vaccine. So when I see that, those are the thoughts that I have. It's not, oh shit, that's right or that's wrong. I'm thinking, I wonder how people will respond to that. Those are my thoughts.
Okay. All right, now let's go a little more lighthearted, and this is from some podcast on that the New York Times does, and the title of the episode is "Why I Always Dreamed of Being a Sister Wife."
Well, you chose this because you know that I've always dreamed of being a sister wife.
That's right. That's right. We're on the hunt, honey.
Yep. So Christine Woolley on what she loved about polygamy and why ultimately she left. Honest to God, I think there's some mental illness involved here. And I think that polygamy is a word to cover up or to justify having orgies with whoever you want. I don't give a shit. If you want to do that, then do it. I don't care. It's not for me. I'm on no moral high horse here. If you want to have sex with everybody and invite whoever into your relationship, then you do that. I wish you the absolute best of luck. Hey, what could possibly go wrong there? There's no way that a relationship would ever be sustainable in a polygamy camp. We know how I know that. Because I am a female. And if me and 5 or 6 other women are married to the same dude, there's going to be so much jealousy that you would die in that environment. That's all there is to it. But if you think that that's what you want to do and that helps you to feel fulfilled, I'm not criticizing you for it. I just don't understand it. But that doesn't mean it's right or wrong. I don't really care. I think that's hilarious. Why I always dreamed of being a sister wife. Who the fuck wakes up and they're like, oh my God, I want to be a sister wife. Because you can bet your sweet ass that there is a bunch of men standing in line for you. I mean, that's all there is to it. Men are like, hey, I'll be a huckleberry. That's that. I'd say just about every man's dream. It would be to have 5 or 6 women sitting there. Oh, come on. Not for me. You ever heard that Oak Ridge Boys song? Trying to love 2 women is like a ball and chain.
Yes.
One's got my money, the other's got my heart.
It's interesting also that that's not a two-way street. I don't know. I've never heard of brother husbands.
No, I haven't either. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because women are smarter and they are not ruled by sex. At the same time, as I say that, then you got your sister wives. I don't know. There's got to be intellect in here somewhere. But women are not as driven and ruled and controlled by sex as men are. We're not.
Yes.
I think that it has a lot more to do in like an atmosphere like that, than just sex. And it depends on the age of these women. It depends on their age. Because women, teenagers, 20s, 30s, up into the 40s, can have very, 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 and do very healthy, hefty sex drives. Now, if this dude's got 5 or 6 women that are 18 years old, can he handle it? He's going to die young. But I bet he tries like hell.
Well, sure.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's move on to the next topic, the next headline. Latest revelations complicate Trump's sweeping denials about Epstein. President Trump often succeeds in pivoting the national conversation, but he is finding that more difficult when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I wanted to also pull up the next one because you've been asking to see this. House panel releases drawing for Epstein, apparently signed by Trump.
Shit.
The Oversight Committee released files turned over by Jeffrey Epstein's estate, including a copy of a sexually suggestive note apparently signed by President Trump. And now he has denied that that's his signature, of course. But you've been asking, where's this birthday card? Well,
So
there
that's
it is.
the birthday card?
Yes, that's his page in this birthday book given to Jeffrey Epstein by all of his good buddies.
The reason that, so I don't automatically believe something when I see it at all. I may have an opinion, but that doesn't mean that I have bought into anything. When I first heard about this birthday card, you remember what I said? I said, then where the fuck is it? Because I'm seeing all of these horrible things about Donald Trump, but I don't have any evidence. And he is a real easy guy to hate. Where is the evidence? If he did this, if he sent this birthday card, then why are they talking about it and they're not allowing the American people to see this birthday card? That's what I said. I never said, I never jumped to any conclusions at all. Those were my thoughts. All right, if this is a piece of evidence, then I want to see it.
Well, here you go.
And there it is, and that is his signature. I mean, unless this is completely fabricated. Who had this? Who had this card?
This was from Jeffrey Epstein's estate.
The thing of it is, I do not think that everybody whose names are tied with Jeffrey Epstein were in cahoots with Jeffrey Epstein, because it's like, let's just take you and I going to the Kentucky Derby, and we do take the 5-star route.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we were in the mansion for Oaks. That's as high as you can go at Churchill Downs. You don't get any higher than the mansion, right? Where would Jeffrey Epstein have been? He would have been in the mansion. Okay. It would have been very, very easy in a situation like that for me to be sitting right next to Jeffrey fucking Epstein and have no idea who he was or what he did. And there could have been pictures taken of me sitting there laughing and talking with Jeffrey Epstein. Shoot, you're going to laugh and talk with everybody you see at the Kentucky Derby. Okay. There were several pictures of me taken talking to people that I saw online. But if you see me with Jeffrey Epstein again outside of the mansion, and then you see me with him again, and then you find pictures and birthday cards at his house, then we're hanging out. And when you hang out with somebody, then you know who they are and what they're doing. You're not going to hang out with somebody that you don't have anything in common with. And the proof about Jeffrey Epstein is there. Everybody knows that he is one of the absolute most corrupt, sick people that ever lived. Here's another fact about Jeffrey Epstein. He had some of the most powerful people in the world in his back pocket. Okay. In my hometown of Richmond, Kentucky, and I won't name any names, but I knew a lot of people in high places there that could easily cover up a DUI. They lost paperwork conveniently to get people out of jail. It happened all the time. Personal favors were pulled behind the scenes with judges, and people were let off the hook and charges were dropped. Criminal records were expunged in exchange for political donations. If that can be done at a local level, think about what Jeffrey Epstein and these fuckers did on the level where they were. I mean, this goes as far up as the royal family. There's some sick shit. And the fact that Donald Trump was associated with Jeffrey Epstein doesn't make him a worse or better businessman or president or whatever. It makes him a dangerous person. That's what it makes him. And I don't want a dangerous person in control of where I live. That is very concerning. There are ethical issues here. Not everybody belongs in the most prestigious position in America, and that is President of the United States. Not everybody belongs there. That's why there's one person, one person. Every 4 years or every 8 years, there's one person. And that's why President of the United States, these people are few and far between. And anybody that is involved with someone like Jeffrey Epstein, well, they don't belong in a position to where the American people's fate, and I'm using air quotes when I say fate, is in their hands. Is there a possibility that he was very close with Jeffrey Epstein back in the day and then found out how Jeffrey Epstein was and disassociated himself? That's a possibility. Sure. I was associated with some pretty bad people back in the day, but I'm not anymore. Nothing like Jeffrey Epstein. Jesus Christ, I don't want to paint that picture. I'm just talking about people who were just not great people. But not people like Jeffrey Epstein. Not on that level. These people were had dependency issues, self-medicated drugs, alcohol, abusive. That's who I'm talking about. Jeffrey Epstein, good Lord, if there's ever been, Satan in human form, it's Jeffrey Epstein. I have a serious issue with that man. The fact that Donald Trump sent him a birthday card, do we analyze it? Do we dig into it? Do we crucify Donald Trump? I don't know. I'd like to know more facts. But I think it's pretty obvious that anybody who says that he wasn't friends or close with Jeffrey Epstein, I'm pretty certain that you can see that he is, or was. But when did their relationship start? When did it end? How detailed was it? I know Donald Trump said that he didn't, quote, have the privilege to go to Jeffrey Epstein's island. he says some things. I don't think he thinks it through. That wasn't the right wording. So if he wasn't on the island, okay, why wasn't he? If he was that close with him, why wasn't he on that island? So it's difficult for me to get too bought in to anything that is reported on the news because I know it's corrupt. I don't think this is a witch hunt like he says it is. I think there might be an element to that with any political figure. But I could talk about this for a year and never really come to a real conclusion. I don't freaking know.
Let's just release the files. Release the files.
I think that the visit, the big rush visit to see Maxwell, that was just hiding in plain sight.
Well, yeah.
That was, hey, don't you talk.
Keep your mouth shut.
Don't talk.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut. Now we're going to transfer you to a cushier spot.
Sure.
Yeah.
The American people, not everybody is completely stupid. And it's pretty clear, regardless of what's going on here, that there are some things being covered up. Is Donald Trump innocent or guilty of all of this? I don't know. Was he just buddies with Jeffrey Epstein and he never, was someone who joined in on all of the underage sex fun? I don't know. I mean, I hate to jump to conclusions if that isn't true. I know that situations aren't always what they seem, but
he sure did enjoy going backstage at the Teen Miss USA competition. Enjoyed being the only male who could.
I don't know a lot about that. I don't know a lot about that. And I'm just the type of person, I'm not going to talk about something unless I at least have some facts.
He's just made some comments over the years about, being, because he owned the pageant, being able to go back. And there have been some former contestants that did not appreciate his actions while he was back there.
That doesn't surprise me. Is he 78?
Give me just a sec.
I think he's 78. I'm 48. And if there's a 20-year-old listening...
He is 79.
79, okay. If there's a 20-year-old listening right now, I'm here to tell you that there was a time when that was the norm for how men acted towards women. I've had many men act that way towards me. When I was a teenager, in my 20s, in my 30s, on up until my 40s. Older men were brought up in a different time. I am by no means justifying that behavior. It shouldn't be like that. It should have never been like that. But guess what? That's how it was. And a lot of places still is. It's social conditioning. And I'm just using Donald Trump as an example. Any man that was brought up in a culture who was socialized to believe, well, you just grab him by the pussy. Well, that's what they're gonna do. They don't see anything wrong with that because they weren't taught to think that that was wrong. That's a real simplistic way to put it. Some people do have a moral compass and have respect for women, and even if that type of behavior is taught, encouraged, and enabled, they still won't do it. But men in that age bracket, yeah, they were not raised during a time where there was a lot of awareness about this sort of thing.
Nope.
I mean, women were looked at as, if you look into Marilyn Monroe's story, Jesus Christ, it's like women were not always real respected. And so if let's just say he behaved that way at the beauty pageants, he was just doing what he always does or did. suddenly it became a thing. You couldn't make sexual comments, and there was sexual harassment in the workplace. And good Lord, I mean, not all of them, but anytime I worked around men, shit. But no male no male coworker or boss ever made me feel uncomfortable because they didn't touch me or, try to get close or anything. That would have been a different story. But the comments and the jokes and stuff, that was the norm. So I didn't really think anything about it. But, and I don't want to get off on a tangent here. I kind of already have. But this is like anybody, I'll sum up with this. We can move on to the next one. But anybody who I send a birthday card to, I know that person. I have spent time with that person, or I would not be sending them a birthday card. This is evidence of a friendship.
Let's go ahead and wrap up. So I really enjoyed this. If everybody out there enjoyed it as well, please tell us in the comments, because I have a bunch more headlines that we could have done, but our time is limited. And so if you'd like us to do this again, please let us know. Leave us a comment. As always, give us a like, subscribe. We'd love some 5-star ratings if you're so inclined. And we'll see everybody again next week.
The Thought SNOB Podcast with Paula Swope has been brought to you by Thought SNOB Media in association with Special Purpose Studios. All production, mixing, and sound engineering by me, Will Swope. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Please take a few seconds to give us 5 stars and leave a review. See you on the next Thought SNOB Podcast with Paula Swope.